Hello, everyone. Um, Laicy here of Team Aquarius. Hop on. um, I was debating on whether or not to even post anything, on our socials. I didn't. I've been feeling okay. So today I really want to talk about the most recent Pisces eclipse. I'm really noticing some significant things in people that I'm talking to that I thought I should probably tell people the things that I'm observing, right? So that you can relate and be like, oh my gosh, me too. And then know that, oh, hey, there's a connection going on. We're all connected by this eclipse that is starting to happen in Pisces. So September 17th was the full moon in Pisces. So we have Virgo and Pisces going on. Now, for me in particular, that's a heavy, heavy one because I have so much Virgo and so much Pisces, right? Or I have one extremely strong placement in Pisces, my Venus. And then I have all the other planets almost in Virgo. So it's like I have this like opposition at all times in a place of um community, spiritual community, basically like 12th house, feeling alone in spiritual community, feeling alone abroad. And Virgo, the place of service, right? And Virgo is like associated with, sort of earth goddess. That's what Mary always says. I even heard another astrologer call it like a sort of a priestess placement, and that is totally how I've always like thought of myself. Um, as somebody who's just deeply spiritually connected. So this eclipse has definitely affected me in good ways. I think the thing that I notice the most about this Pisces eclipse is that it seems to be drawing out people's callings, right? Pisces is the savior of the world, right? Pisces is Christ consciousness at its best, right? Pisces is wants to save, wants to sacrifice for the betterment of everyone. And it kind of feels like it can, right? There's a strong calling, for Pisces placements. I think that's why there's a lot of confusion a lot of the times for them. Um, so this eclipse is really kind of touching on that. Eclipses bring about things more quickly, right? Eclipses, it's the head of the dragon, right? It is greedy for the spiritual, right? It wants to eat, it wants to partake of things that are spiritual in nature, intuitive in nature. I see sometimes people glaze over when I say spiritual in nature with Pisces, especially with people who haven't really grown up with that. But it's really more about the intuition, right? I know, but I don't know how to tell you that I know, right? There's a feeling, a mind feeling, heart feeling, chakras feeling thing, that like I just know. And so something I've been talking with other like Pisces placements, and the thing about Pisces is that it's also the sign of the fish, right? It's yin and yang. Let me see if I can like show y'all a picture. Pisces belief. Boom. All right, images, and I'll show you my screen. I wanted to see it. If I could see here we go. All right. So thank you. Thank you for bearing with me, Pisces. So this is the glyph, right? Fish. It's yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. One going this way, one going that way. It's like two things. It's a mutable sign, which was considered double-bodied. I can be this and this at the same time. And I don't know how to describe to you how that's possible, how that's true for me, right? So you can see the yin and yang right up in there, right? So I think so I've been noticing these themes of like masculine and feminine coming up a lot, right? And not just because like of gender debates or anything like that, right? It's more about the energy of it, right? So there is this concept of divine masculine and divine feminine, and I'm certain a lot of people feel triggered by these things, especially people who have felt like outcasted from society, who have, thought about it as a gendered thing, right? So I think that that could be like a painful thing, but I think that this eclipse is trying to help heal these things, right? Trying to help heal that kind of divide, heal that kind of gap, because Pisces sees a oneness. It sees the hope of the oneness. It wants to fight for right, it wants to fight for light. But there's no small amount of confusion in those things. So what I've noticed in my own life, what I have noticed is feeling more called to do more divine feminine things, divine yin things, which is interesting because I have a lot of my big three are masculine, right? Aries is a masculine sign, Aquarius is a masculine sign, right? They are penetrative, they are out there, they are going forward, they are taking ground, right? Sort of when you think of, masculine vibes, right? Being assertive, right? Very masculine things. So my big three are very masculine, but then I have so much Virgo and Pisces, which are very yin, which are very feminine, right? Feeling signs. And so I have this interesting mix within me, and we all have this mix within us, right? And I think when we accept the both parts of ourselves, right, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, then there's a wholeness that could be had. And when you feel like when you feel like you're living in your wholeness, or when you feel like you're living in your sort of divinely guided self, that is when you can be a hierophant, right? A teacher of traditions, right? A teacher of the spiritual and the philosophical. In my older times life, when I was in the church, I was very into prophesying over people, right? It just comes out of me. I still do it to this day, right? It's like I just know what to say to heal. I just know what to say. It's like I'm channeling it, right? And it's like, oh, you can just see the impact happen on people. I do that to this day with tarot reading and with astrology. When you bring sort of this sense of validation to people and this sense of purpose to people, where you're like, yes, all those things you've been feeling are right on, and there's so much joy in that. Seeing somebody who was hurting and lost a moment ago now is like enlivened with, you know, clarity. So I was thinking about, what should I do today? What should I talk about today with the divine masculine and feminine? And my thought was, I have the superpowers of divine feminine, which means that I am exceptionally good at healing, right? It's what I want to do. I want to heal, right? Friggin' love it, right? I love, love, love nurturing, and coming from a place of, there's nothing you can say to make me not love you, right? There's nothing you can do to make me not be connected to spirit, right? I'm connected to spirit. I'm connected to the ultimate, ability to forgive in a way, right? I'm connected to that. I grow fruit from there, right? So I was thinking about, if you are here and you are willing, I was going to do a little sort of mini ritual thing that I do with myself when I am looking into sort of spiritual healing. You can just watch me. You don't have to follow along, but if you'd like to follow along, let's I'll just take you through sort of words. Let's just see what comes out, because I don't really know. Like, I think I know, and then I don't know. So I'll show you. I have my little altar over here with my little candles already lit. See? My little feminine, beautiful stuff here. It's already there. And it's already ready for us. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cleanse the space. So I'm going to take my This is a blue sage. You know, there's white sage and blue sage. I'd love to say that I'm sort of the best witch ever, but I I always forget. I just know that sage is good for cleansing, and I know that the differences are good for different things. But for me, just using the intention to cleanse is enough. So I have some sage here that I'm going to light. And sage is used for cleansing a space, right? Sage, the idea of smoke, right? The idea of campfire is like gathering, right? When you think of, you know, smoke and the smells, right? It's throughout history been considered a purifying, cleansing, right? Because fire is purifying. What stands in the after fire goes through? Only things that are solid, only things that can't be burned, right? So fire is super destructive, but super good, right? For cleansing and purifying and burning down. Think of Phoenix rising from the ashes, right? It's painful. Being burned is not fun. If you've ever touched fire, it really sucks, right? But that's what's up. So I'm taking some sage. And as I take this sage, the story or the intention that I'm going to put out is cleansing my space, right? Cleansing your space, right? Cleansing your space, cleansing my space, my mind, my heart, my body, right? Think of cleansing it. And then when I think of cleansing it, I think of like anything malevolent or evil or anything that would make me feel judged or condemned or sad, right? Things that make me feel accused, things that make me feel unworthy. That is what I'm cleansing this space from. There will be no room for that where you are, and there's no room for that where I am. So we've cleansed the space of things that are not for our good, not for our highest good. So we've cleansed the space. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I love all kinds of smells of smoke. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I have some wood here. God, I always Sampalo, right? Is that what it is? Anyway, this one, the intention, the story with this one is you light it and it also cleanses and then it also protects. It acts as sort of like a smoky guard, a smoky angel, if you will. Cleansing, right? Protecting, right? I am taking my spiritual work here very seriously, right? That's what I'm signifying to myself with the smell. It's what I'm signifying, right? To, you know, universe, spirit, most high, right? That's what I am signaling that I am doing right now. And then I'll have another smoke later that we'll talk about in a second. Now, the other thing that we do in the witching circles is we take our atham, right? Or athame. So some witches, that's a sword, right? Or like a dagger. You'll see them have them on their altars. And what they do is they cast a magic circle with it. They do a lot of things with those, but we're going to cast a magic circle with it. And the reason why you want to cast a magic circle is because now you just cleansed the space, right? You've made it sort of sacred and holy, and you know, set this space, your time aside to connect, right, with spirits, source, team guides. I do not care what you call it, but it feels expansive. It feels sacred. It feels joyful, right? It feels loving to me. That's what it feels like to me. So you cast a magic circle to kind of hold that in, hold that space. It acts as sort of a barrier, right? So I have this. This is my little athame here. My little hair. My all my hair can be held up by it. Um, it's a special thing. It's what I do my candle magic with, right? You can like carve on things. It's not an actual pen. It's just a, you know, it's my little pokey that I carve with my candles, right? And what I will use to cast my magic circle. So when you're casting your magic circle, what you're going to do is you can stand before your altar. My altar is right here. And you're going to point the sharp end in the east, which for me is this way. And I know that because my air is in that direction, right? So I point it this way, and then I imagine a silver blue flame coming out the tip of it. And then imagine a silver blue like torch flame going all around you in a circle, right? And now you are in this protected circle. This means that nothing can influence me that is not of divine, that is not of the most high, that is not of the best of the best, the loving, right? It makes a circle that cannot be broken until I break it, which I'll show you how to call back your circle. Now I'll just roll out my hair. You guys can see I put my little hair. The reason why I like to put this in my hair too sometimes is because I imagine it's an air element, right? An element of air, the feathers and the casting, right? It's an element of air. So I think of having, and air is also associated with like intellect and logic. Oh, not a good enough fun. So twist around because you have so much hair, Laicy. What a problem, I know. Literally, people comment on my hair all the time, and they're always like, "Oh my god, I love your hair," and I'm like, "Oh, my god, me too." Who I know? I got great hair, whatever. All right, there she goes. Now she's kind of like back in. Hello. Anyways, I like to put her in my hair because then, it makes me think, the thing that protects me is now super close to my brain, super close to my head, right? All right, so we've cleansed our space, we've protected it, we've cast our magic circle. Now we're going to call in our people. Who's our people? And the way that you call in your people is you have a little bell. I have this little bell, and it sits on my little altar over here too. And the bell, when you ring it and you chime it, then you ask for people who you know who are part of your spirit team, right? Or whatever angel you want to interact with, right? Some people will call in like Raphael, some people will call in like Gabriel, some people, I do work with those. But mostly the people that I see the most in my dreams are my grandmothers. So I'll like ring the bell and then I'll picture my grandma Watson's face. And I increasingly, the older I get, the more I have her face. And yes, it's getting older, but damn, be the most beautiful face ever. So, calling my grandma Watson, who in this life, when she was here, she would have hated that I'm doing like witchcraft or like mixing these two things. Not loved that, but now I believe that since she's on the other side, that she has more wisdom around things like that. I don't think it's as petty on the other side as it gets here, this side, you know? So I invite her and I imagine her smiling face being with me. And then her mother, my great grandma Anderson, I imagine calling her in too. And I can hear her voice in my mind, remember what her voice sounded like and her face. So then I imagine bringing them here to protect me. And then I also allow them to invite, who do they want to invite to be with me here? What other people of wisdom, have you met on the other side, right? Wisdom, come to me, right? I'll think of my spirit team, right? Laicy's spirit team, come to her, sometimes if I am sort of and it feels like you're in a space of prayer, right? Like prayer, where you're like just talking to Most High, you know what I mean? So, yeah, being in that place, that space. And I smile because I have a really good relationship with spirit, right? With the Most High. I think I'm its favorite. Not that it plays favorites, but I definitely think that I am put here on this earth to really show people what unconditional love really feels like. And it feels like hope, it's beautiful. All right. So once you've rung your bell and you've called in your spirit team and you cried because you're like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome, right? Then what I'm gonna do to open my third eye, I'm gonna use more smoke, baby. So this is mugwort here. Mugwort. What a witchy sounding name, right? Witchy sounding. I just feel witchcrafty, like friggin' lighting up some mugwort up over here. It's kind of getting down there. And so with the mugwort, the story with mugwort is that it helps to open up your third eye. Now you can see why we cast so many like protection spells and did those stories, because I don't need anybody fucking with me who is not of the best, right? The most the best, just the best of the best, if you will. So mugwort, let's light you up. Okay. And then what I'm going to do with it, it does get pretty smoky. The mugwort smokes a lot. And I'll inhale it. Inhale it. Does it smell good? No. No. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell great. And then I imagine, since it's a third eye opener, right? I'll imagine like putting the smoke on my third eye. And I feel, okay, so I have a very sensitive third eye area anyway. I like feel a pull. I feel something there that is indescribable, other than I want to lean into it. Like it's like it feels intimate, and it feels romantic too. And it feels like intimacy, right? Pure intimacy, like open, pure intimacy is the closest thing I can think of to what it feels like, right? And then I want to, open it. I imagine if I actually had an eye here and then there was smoke in front of that eye, it would get like watery. But mugwort, third eye opener. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to light it a little bit one more time, get a little bit more smoky smokes up in there. And then I'm going to hold my little cup, or my little shell, right? Shell, very feminine thing. And I'm going to sit here a minute, breathing it in. And what I'm doing is just connecting. I'm using my imagination to talk to my grandma, right? And to listen to her. And I just see her smile. And I imagine talking with the Most High. And the thing that comes to my mind right now is that time is irrelevant. The blessings that I'm encountering now and speaking forth now have the power to go backwards and forwards and all around time to heal it. And that is what I want. That is what I want. Because I am convinced that if people felt healed, if people felt safe, if people felt not judged, right? This is the power of the Christ consciousness, right? The thought of being forgiven forever, right? There's nothing that you can do to separate you from the love of God, right? That vibe. That's the vibe I'm bringing forth. And I have the kind of love that can transcend the laws that humans put on religion, right? I like to move a lot when I am channeling, or when I am, I don't know, I move a lot. So if you feel like you want to move a lot, then move a lot. You know what I mean? Feel free to do so. I'm going to put some mugwort up by your third eye. Imagine right now, use your imagination. Imagination can be powerfully used to heal. Use your imagination now if you're still with me. And I'm going to put some mugwort over your third eye. Some mugwort underneath your nose. Allow yourself to breathe deeply. Come to a place of serenity, a place where you are whole. I'd like you to imagine wiping away. Maybe I'll take my hair down again. Use my little feather to wipe away. Wipe away sadness. Right? Wipe away bad thoughts about yourself. Right? Wipe it away. Let spirit take it. Let the Most High take it. Right? Let that love of Christ consciousness, right? Let that take it. Let that take that burden, right? Receive the good news that you no longer have to worry about feeling like shit. With the third eye. Feels really good. Allow yourself some time to listen to your spirit team. What is yours telling you right now? What are your ancestors telling you right now? I don't know about your ancestors, but mine kind of get thrilled every time I talk to them or, acknowledge them. I feel like they're so happy I'm here. I never feel shame. I never feel like I'm not doing something I should be doing, right? I only feel restored, happy, relieved. May you feel the same. I'd like you to think about now also, what is your purpose, right? What is it that you feel called to do? And sometimes it'll feel like, oh my gosh, it's not good enough, or it's silly, or it's nothing like this other person has. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's a thing, but don't feel like that, please. I wipe away feeling like that. Every calling is valid. You don't know all the ways in which you are needed, and the things that are on your heart and your mind are needed. And I think this Pisces eclipse is what's bringing this out. You may find things happening more quickly than normal. Allow for it to happen. Allow for yourself to be silly, to go out on a limb, to be wrong. Right? That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that people will just think that I'm silly and unintelligent. That's always that's the negativity. And therefore I need to shut up because somebody's going to think I'm dumb, right? Or yeah, those are the things that come to me. So I'm going to allow those things to be wiped away. And in their place, instead of feeling dumb, I am lighthearted, right? I can find humor in anything, right? Yeah. So instead of feeling, I rebuke and reject the idea that I'm unintelligent. I know that I am. What do you rebuke? What do you accept in its place? Make sure to accept something in its place. So a mantra is helpful, I find. when you've just erased something that, you know, evil forces have tried to put into your head, right? They've tried to, you know, put things out for your demise, right? Because darkness does not want that light to win, right? I don't want to make out with this, but it's like fire. It's weird. Um, yeah. So mantra, right? What's the mantra? What am I going to take with me and repeat with me when I leave this space, right? What am I going to take with me? I'm going to take with me, I have the mind of Christ, right? It's something that's special to me. And if that word triggers you, then please forgive me, right? Please forgive that. Please forgive that. Please bridge that. If you can bridge that, please bridge that. It's taken me a long time to bridge that, but it's possible. I have the mind of Christ. And Christ has the mind of God. That's actually a scripture. I can't remember where, but yeah, I have that mind. And when you have that mind, then it kind of doesn't matter what people think of you, right? That dude didn't care. Thank you. Thank you. I can feel the warmth from the burning flames. It's not super close, like right here. I can feel it. Mwah. Thank you, Smoke. All right. So now that you've had your moments and you've talked with your spirit team and you've made out with your thoughts, now that you've done that, now we're going to close the circle. So what you want to do is take your athame, right? And you're going to cut open the circle. So you're going to imagine, again, use your imagination. You're going to cut it open, right? And then you're going to imagine that silver blue flame being sucked back up just the way it went out. Where you're going to go counterclockwise. And then now you've opened the circle, and now I'm going to ring my bell. I'm going to say, hey, y'all, you're dismissed. Thank you for being with me. Made me feel so good. I'll remember what I learned here today. And I'm going to smile all day, just remembering their faces and remembering my mantra. I have the mind of Christ. That's my mantra for today. So let me know what spiritual awakenings you've been having. This Pisces moon or this eclipse has made me feel like I want to live louder, right? Live loud. It's made me realize I want to be louder about, because I have the benefit of having this sort of super kind to myself, loving to myself, most of the time inner dialogue. And I want to share that with others. And I believe that I have a, sort of divine feminine anointing that is able to channel and soothe. And so if you are a, divine masculine, regardless of gender, I hope that you feel soothed and, restored. That's what I want. I want you to feel restored. So I hope this has helped to restore you. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time. Bye.